Padres postgame show on the Padres Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. Listen to Craig Stammen's postgame comments. Plus, we'll bring you today's play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
Welcome into our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score at Oracle Park in San Francisco tonight in the opening game of a three-game series. The Giants 3 and the Padres 2. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. A lot to do, as always, on our postgame coverage. We'll go back up to the Bay Area, hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. We have all the radio highlights for you. Recap this game from start to finish. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, potentially some of your phone calls, and much, much more. As always, our post-game coverage brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort. Hey, player, with epic SoCal views, a full bar and poolside bite. Starlight Pool at Jamul Casino Resort is pool season perfected, and day passes are available. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Well, some initial thoughts for you before we get into the rest of our post-game coverage here on this Monday night. And as always, we appreciate you joining us here on the Padres Radio Network. To me, this game comes down to one thing and really one thing only, and that is the Padres not doing much of anything against a very young, fairly inexperienced major league pitcher in the right-hander, Trevor McDonald, on the mound tonight for the San Francisco Giants. We talked about it pregame that McDonald was good in the major leagues in a very brief stint last year, but at AAA this year, numbers weren't great. 5.40 ERA, 15 walks allowed in 15 innings. He's a young right-hander, had just come up to rejoin the major league club. And who knows, maybe Trevor McDonald's going to go on to have an amazing career and win a Cy Young. I don't know. But I do know this. When you have as experienced a lineup as the Padres have, as veteran a lineup as the Padres have, I think you expect to do more against a guy like Trevor McDonald, and that is what this game came down to. Yes, Randy Vasquez gave up 2 runs in the opening inning, but he settled in. He went 5 2/3 innings, 3 runs given up. Bullpen tonight, really, really good for the Padres. Really good for the Padres. Bottom line tonight is they got the Jackson Merrill home run the Padres did in the bottom half of the first inning, gave him a 1-0 lead. And now look, Randy Vasquez came out for the bottom half of the first inning, 2 batters in, gave up the lead, and then allows the Giants to take the lead. I understand that. But consider this. After that home run by Jackson Merrill against Trevor McDonald tonight, the Padres got hit by a pitch, had a single, and that was it against McDonald through 7 innings tonight. Again, after the Merrill home run, it was Jake Cronenworth getting hit by a pitch in the 3rd and a single to begin the inning by Merrill in the 4th inning, and that was it. McDonald, after that single by Merrill, he retired the final 12 batters in a row he faced. And you look at his final line tonight, Trevor McDonald, 7 innings, 1 run, 2 hits allowed, and both hits were given up to Merrill. No walk, struck out 8. But I'll tell you the number that I think is kind of remarkable out of this, and that is that he threw 81 pitches in this game in 7 innings. I mean, Trevor McDonald barely broke a sweat in this game. And we talked about it, the lack of command at AAA. You can slice it up any way you want, okay? You can slice it up, young pitcher, somebody they haven't seen before, the troubles that come with that. From time to time, you can slice it up any way you want. But if you were the Padres offense tonight, you had to be able to find a way to get more against Trevor McDonald, who, again, aside from the Merrill home run, barely broke a sweat in this game tonight. Goes 7 innings, 1 run given up, gets the win, and that was it. And yes, Padres got the home run by Laureano in the 9th inning to make it 3-2. Killian bounces back to get the 2-3-4 hitters, Tatis, Merrill, Machado to end the game and get the save. But look, at one point in this game tonight, the Padres had gone down 15 in a row. And again, that was from the first out recorded of the 4th inning through the 8th inning up until the Laureano home run. And it's just going to be difficult to win a game if you get that kind of offensive production. And I think the bigger picture issue continues to be, and tonight, unfortunately, was a good example of it. Starting pitchers, really no matter who they are just going very deep and are being very effective into games against this Padres offense. And it's not just me saying that, and it's not just you watching or listening to that. It's proven in the numbers. Tonight was the 16th quality start thrown against the Padres this season. No team in baseball has had more quality starts thrown against them than the Padres so far this year. So if it feels like starting pitchers are consistently going deep into games, consistently putting together good outings against this offense, if it feels like that, that's because it's what's happening. Again, 16 quality starts in 34 games now, most in Major League Baseball against the Padres. So tonight, again, was Randy giving up the lead right away? Great, no. But Randy, meanwhile, settled in, ends up going nearly 6 innings, giving up 3 runs. It was almost a quality start by definition tonight for Randy Vasquez. But tonight's game, this loss to me, falls squarely on the offense. Again, Trevor McDonald may go on to have a great, great career. We'll see. And maybe we look back and say, remember that night where he threw 7 innings, allowed 1 run, and he was going to be the next great San Francisco Giant right-hander. Maybe he'll be that guy. But look, against the young starting pitcher, if you're the Padres offense with the names in this lineup, I mean, you have got to find a way to be more productive. And this was a low-scoring game where if you were able to generate more offense against McDonald, you probably win the game. Certainly if you get the same kind of night pitching you got from Vasquez and Hart and Rodriguez and Peralta. So frustrating night offensively. And again, this has been a theme. We talked about it in the White Sox series. Remember Noah Schultz on Friday night? Remember Sean Burke on Saturday night? Starting pitchers are going too deep into these games and, quite frankly, too effective in these games against this Padres offense right now. That was the story here tonight. Trey McDonald, great, picks up the win. He goes 7 strong innings, and the Padres lose this game 3-2. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll recap this one from start to finish. We'll have the radio highlights for you. Hear from Craig Stammen coming up a little bit later as well. Padres fall in the series opener in San Francisco. Our postgame coverage continues after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Final score today, Giants 3 and the Padres 2. We'll go back to San Francisco, hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen in just a little bit. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard and much, much more. But first, let's recap this game from start to finish, tell you how it went down in San Francisco tonight.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Giants right-hander Trevor McDonald making his first start in the major leagues this season. He retired the first two batters of the game in the top of the first inning, but then it was Jackson Merrill.
McDonald will kick and deliver. The left-hand batter swings at the first pitch, sends it in the air to center field. It is high, it is deep, it is gone! Jackson Merrill, a home run in the top of the first inning, and the Padres take a 1-0 lead. A Jacksonian blast here at Oracle Park.
Nice tribute to Yankee broadcaster John Sterling there by Jesse Agler. Jesse calling the Jackson Merrill home run. Padres had that 1-0 lead as Randy Vasquez took the mound in the bottom of the first inning. The second batter he faced was Casey Schmidt.
3-2, hammered in the air. Deep to left field, forget it. Laureano back to watch. Casey Schmidt stay hot. Game-tying solo shot in the bottom of the first inning. And this game is 1-1.
Giants, unfortunately, not done. Luis Ariz doubled. He was still on base for Rafael Devers.
Here's the 0-1. Devers hits it on the ground up the middle. That's going to roll into center field, a base hit. Ariz comes in to score. The Giants take the lead. It's 2-1.
Score would stay 2-1 for a while. Randy Vasquez, to his credit, settled in. He pitched a 1-2-3 second, worked around a leadoff walk in the third, worked around another walk in the fourth inning, a 1-2-3 fifth inning. But like we said in the opening segment, the problem was the Padres just weren't doing much at all against McDonald. Through 5 innings, McDonald allowed just the solo home run, a single, and he hit a batter. McDonald then pitched a 1-2-3 top of the 6th inning. Padres still trailed 2-1. Going bottom 6, Vasquez back to work. He gave up a leadoff double to Luis Ariz. Ariz went to third base on a ground out. He scored on a sac fly from Rafael Devers. Giants led it 3-1. Vasquez allowed 3 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings. Kyle Hurt got the final out of the 6th inning. McDonald returned to the mound for the 7th. He recorded a 1-2-3 frame. McDonald retired the final 12 batters he faced. He went 7 innings and allowed just 1 run on 2 hits. Bradley Rodriguez pitched a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th inning. Keaton Wynn pitched a 1-2-3 top of the 8th. Rodriguez got the first out of the bottom half of the 8th inning. Wandy Peralta then worked around a 2-out triple and a walk to finish a scoreless inning. So, Padres still trailed 3-1 going to the 9th inning. Giants righty Caleb Killian came on for the save opportunity. Giants essentially don't have a closer right now. It's pretty much closer by committee. Tonight's candidate to close out the game was Caleb Killian. It was Ramon Laureano who led off for the Pods.
Ramon swings, sends it in the air, deep to left field. Ramos is going back. He's going to watch this one. Gonna go! Ramon Laureano with his 5th of the year. And the Padres get a solo shot to start the 9th. This is a 1-run game at Oracle Park.
So Padres within 1. Killian would then bounce back to strike out Fernando Tatis Jr. He induced a ground out from Jackson Merrill. The game was left up to Manny Machado with the Padres still trailing 3-2.
Killian is set, ready. Here's the pitch. Manny swings and misses. Strike 3. It was a curveball. Down and away, and the ball game is over. Killian gave up the home run to Laureano, but he holds on to collect his first major league save, and the Giants hold on to win this game by a final of 3-2.
Giants snap a 6-game losing skid as they take this series opener. Giants improve to 14-21. Padres drop to 20-14. Final totals here tonight for the Giants: 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors, and for the Padres, 2 runs, 3 hits, and no errors. The right-hander The right-hander, Trevor McDonald, picks up his first win of the season in the major leagues in his season debut for the Giants. He improves to 1-0. Randy Vasquez takes his first loss of the season. He's now 3-1. And Caleb Killian picked up his first major league save with that ninth inning, even though he gave up the home run to Laureano. By the way, first time this season, the Padres have lost a game that Randy Vasquez started, believe it or not. So 7 starts in, first time the Padres have had an L when Randy's been on the mound. But unfortunately, that's the way it went here tonight. Final score, Giants 3, Padres 2. When we come back, we'll go back up to San Francisco, hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. Our postgame coverage continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Final score here today in this series opener in San Francisco. Giants 3 and the Padres 2. As always, our post-game coverage brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort. Hey, player, the rooftop pool's open. Day passes are available, and the spa is calling your name. Jamul Casino Resort. The players' place. Again, the main storyline in this game, not to hammer it home too much. Padres offensively just did not do much in this game. They had a home run solo shot by Jackson Merrill in the first inning, a leadoff single by Merrill in the fourth, and a home run by Ramon Laureano in the ninth inning. And that was it as far as the offense tonight. Padres did have a hit batter in the third, and that was it. Those were all the base runners the Padres had tonight, 4 of them total. And again, the big story from the Giants' standpoint tonight, Trevor McDonald making his season debut in the major leagues. Very young right-hander, not a ton of experience. Boy, he barely had to break a sweat here tonight. 7 innings, 1 run given up, 2 hits. He walked nobody, struck out 8, 81 pitches, 60 for strikes. Randy Vasquez after a rocky first inning where he gave up a couple of runs. Look, to Randy's credit, to me, totally settled in this game. And quite frankly, pitched well enough to win. 5 2/3 innings, 3 runs given up. Bullpen did a good job, but the Padres just had a very quiet night offensively. Only had 1 at bat with a runner in scoring position. They only left 2 on base in this game. All those numbers together, along with the fact that they only had 3 hits in this game, sort of tells the story of how it went as the Padres tonight lose a low-scoring affair in San Francisco 3-2. Let's go back to Oracle Park in San Francisco inside the Padres clubhouse and hear some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stammen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
Really good sinker. That's a good slider at the end. But I mean, does it go beyond that, or is that what happened tonight?
I think yes and yes. I think the kid was making pitches. He's throwing a little harder than what he's thrown all year. His season debut came out firing in front of the home crowd, and then I think a little bit as we got to fight him a little bit more. We made it a little easier on him, and we've got to find a way to handle these guys that come in with the sinker slider combo. That's just part of what this season's going to bring for this team, and we're going to keep working. Those guys are going to keep working. Eventually, we'll figure it out.
Knowing that you guys have that, you've addressed all sorts of things. Like, why hasn't it happened yet? Not to imply that this game's easy, but you guys have been winning, but it's also been a familiar formula for how the games have gone.
Yeah, you're right. We haven't really broken through on offense. We've had a couple games where we looked really good, but for the most part, we've grinded out some games and got some wins. So, maybe that's the formula. Just grind it out and play those close games like Padres are accustomed to. But I think eventually, we're gonna, if we want to be who we want to be, and not just a good team but a great team, we've got to be able to handle pitchers like that and figure out a way to put a few more runs on the board.
Fernando's had some days where it looks like he's kind of putting together, and then some days where it looks like he may be taking a step back. What's it going to take to kind of stack that consistency for him?
Yeah, I think, he's working in the cage every day. It's not for lack of effort. He's trying new things and trying things to unlock himself. And I think sometimes he feels really close, and then it just kind of turns a little bit the other way, faces some tough pitching, and he's not able to, stay on that hot streak. So we'll keep working. He's going to keep working every day. Trust that his ability is eventually going to come through and he'll be just fine.
Is there ever a wariness in this, maybe not just for him, just generally speaking, trying new things, trying too many new things?
Yeah, there's a possibility of that. Like he's somewhat of a tinkerer anyway with his stance. He's a feel type of player, and he wants to feel a certain way when he's in the box. And that's not just like you got to feel good to play good. He's looking for a feeling that puts him in a comfortable position to hit. And so, a lot of times with field guys, they, go, there's some ups and downs with that. I was a field pitcher. I felt that when I, felt my mechanics were really good, there was no way I could miss a spot. And then there was days where I was just a little off and it felt like I was, throwing left-handed sometimes. So, I understand how that feels when you're a field player. And, I think eventually he's going to feel it and he's going to get hot.
What did you think of Randy tonight?
Yeah, Randy pitched great. Tough first inning, with the home run. Schmidt looks like he's swinging it really well right now. Looks very confident in the box. Going to be a tough hitter for us all series, but gave up the solo home run and then ground ball to short. Try to get that guy at third. Didn't quite get him, and a couple C&I singles. But other than that, I thought he pitched really good. He cruised after that. Gave him a sac fly, double painting the line in that last inning that he pitched. But overall, really good.
What's Jackson been working on that allowed him to be one of your lone bright spots tonight? Yeah,
Jackson's a great player, and eventually these guys are going to break through, just like Tatis. And tonight it was great to see Jackson come up with a big hit in that first inning. Another hit in his second at bat. He's up there competing every day, and love his competitiveness, and that's why he was one of our best players. He's at the top of the order.
Big picture, we've seen his team go to the postseason the last couple of years, and then offense kind of disappears in October. I know that's a long way away, but what gives you big picture confidence that this offense can be better than the last two?
Yeah, we have great players. I trust their ability. I trust the coaching staff that we have and the expertise in the room. And I think eventually, We're going to be a tireless working team, and we're going to try to figure it out. Will we always have all the right answers? Probably not, but we're going to keep trying.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen following this 3-2 loss in San Francisco tonight. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios. Look, I think early on there, Craig, I think summed it up perfectly. By the way, credit to Craig Stammen, because I thought those were actually some really, really good answers at the start. And speaking about the offense and Trevor McDonald, look, there was a tip of the cap there, as there should be. McDonald was tough. He has that sinker-slider combo. The sinker, I thought, looked really good tonight from McDonald. Padres, are always going to be a right-handed, heavy-hitting lineup. It's just their personnel. However, Craig said two things there that I thought stood out. Number one, he said, we got to fight him a little bit more. And he also said, essentially, we've got to handle pitchers like that, a little bit better. And to me, that sums it up right there. Whether it was the way I put it in the opening segment tonight, where I said, we talked about it pregame, you had to make him work a little bit more, whether you want to use the word work or fight or however you want to put it. I think that's the expectation, even more so than the results is, again, you just look at McDonald's final line tonight, and it's 7 innings, 1 run on 81 pitches, right? And if you watch the game, you saw it. I mean, nothing was high stress, so you would have liked them to just work them more, get into that Giants bullpen a little bit quicker. And again, it follows suit. And this is why I really like what Craig had to say there. The handling pitchers like that better line, it falls right in line with what we talked about a little bit earlier, where this has been a theme in the early part of this season, win or lose. Okay, the Padres are still 20-14 after today. Okay, they're still in the big picture off to a nice start this season. But win or lose, that's been a theme with pitchers just throwing quality starts against them and being pretty effective and efficient against them. Hey, again, look no further than what you saw on Friday and Saturday at Petco Park with Schultz and Burke, right? Both go 6 innings. Both are really solid. And, you're kind of sitting there thinking, man, this feels like a guy the Padres should be able to handle or at least make him work, get him out of the game early. And tonight it kind of felt that way again against Trevor McDonald. So, look, I think Craig kind of saying the right things there. And, I think saying what a lot of us are thinking, but in credit to Craig, he's saying it in I think a really, kind of good way, like, still a positive, upbeat way. But I think he's echoing what you're probably thinking when it comes to this offense, doing a better job at handling pitchers like a Trevor McDonald, where you look on paper who he is and the inexperience. And you say to yourself, heading into a ball game, hey, they should be able to handle this guy and do some damage against him. So, unfortunately, not much the case here tonight as the Giants win it 3-2. When we come back, we'll talk more about the Padres offense. I do want to focus on Jackson Merrill, who certainly was a bright spot tonight. We'll get to some of your phone calls. We may also have some additional post-game reaction for you from the clubhouse in San Francisco. Final score here tonight, Giants 3 and the Padres 2. Our post-game coverage continues after this. Postgame coverage continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Final score here tonight, the Giants 3 and the Padres 2 as the Giants snap a 6-game skid. And the Padres lost in this series opener. They'll be back at it tomorrow, same time, same place for game 2 of this 3-game series. Right-hander Walker Buehler on the mound for the Padres tomorrow. We'll talk more about tomorrow's game coming up a little bit later. We will get to some of your phone calls here in a bit as well at 833-288-0973. We'll also go back to the Padres clubhouse at Oracle Park in a bit and hear from Randy Vasquez. Actually, that'll come your way in just a couple of minutes, so stay tuned for that. First, let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, brought to you by San Diego criminal defense attorney David P. Shapiro. We help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. Learn more at davidpshapirolaw.com.
Relief pitcher of the game today. I really think you got a couple of options here today on the Padres side of things, so we'll stay on the Padres side. You could go with Kyle Hart, who did a good job coming in the 6th inning with a runner in scoring position and, runner on first base. But at that point, it was a 3-1 Giant lead facing the young Bryce Eldridge, who got called up earlier in the day. And Hart struck him out to end the inning and close the book on Randy Vasquez and keep it a 2-run deficit. So that was a good job by Kyle Hart. But to me, actually, now that I kind of look at it, clear winner of relief pitcher of the game today, to me, is Bradley Rodriguez. Really, really good for Bradley today. Faced 4 batters, retired all 4, very quick and easy. 1, 2, 3, 7th inning. Had an up down, went back out for the 8th inning, grabbed Casey Schmidt, the right-handed batter, got a ground out from him. 4 up, 4 down across 2 innings, inning and a third scoreless, and he threw 16 pitches. Really good. I mean, Bradley has been really, really impressive. He continues to do his thing, a 1.62 ERA at the end of tonight. Great. He's a relief pitcher of the game. 4 up, 4 down out of the bullpen today for Bradley Rodriguez in a game the Padres were trailing, but still low-scoring affair, very winnable game. Hey, Padres come back, tie this game, win the game. We're looking at these bullpen performances today, I think, in a even bigger light, especially Rodriguez inning and a third scoreless today. I will use this opportunity as we talk about the bullpen to mention something that we focused on a little bit pregame today. Yuki Matsui, Craig Stammen said earlier today, Yuki will be activated tomorrow. So why is that significant? Well, for 2 reasons. Number one, the Padres are going to get an experienced left-hander back in their pen in Yuki. Well, the other thing is that they're going to have to make room for him on the roster. And I will tell you, that's a very interesting decision because you've got, some different scenarios here. You could send Bradley down, I guess, hypothetically. I find it very hard to believe they would do that. I could be wrong. But the way Bradley's pitching, how are you going to look at him the way he's pitched so far this year? And I forget the fact that he's young and he has options. That would seem almost unfair. Not almost. That would seem very unfair. And quite frankly, make you a worse bullpen, right? I mean, Bradley is teetering on that high leverage group. He's been so good. I mean, when he comes in, you trust him. I trust him. So that, even though Bradley has options, that would seem almost unfair, and probably at this point he's been good enough at this point. It would almost shock me if he's the guy. So what are you left with? Well, you do have Ron Marinaccio, who is out of options. You would have to DFA him. It's possible that happens. Kyle Hart, I believe, Kyle, you can send down. I'm almost positive. Don't quote me on that, but I'm almost positive Hart can be sent back down. That would maybe be the kind of the easy one, right? And put him back at AAA, and then you swap out a lefty for a lefty. But look, then Kyle Hart is somebody that they value in that bullpen. So I'm just making the point to you that it's going to be interesting to see what they do clearing that spot in the bullpen for Yuki Matsui, who, as we heard earlier, will be activated tomorrow. I'm going to check on that Kyle Hart piece of information during the break because my My brain is saying he's still got options, but there's something in my brain saying, are you sure about that, Sam? And I'll tell you what, to be honest with you, and I should know this, to be honest with you, as I talk about this, in spring training, I'm so locked into the options part of everything, and it's like I leave Peoria and it like exits my brain. So let me double check that, to be honest with you, but I'll get back to you after the break. Let's quickly tell you about the heart of the order.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the Heart of the Order, presented by Palomar Health, the official healthcare provider of 97.3 The Fan. Palomar Health, leading with heart for every patient. Palomar Health is reimagining healthcare.
Heart of the order here today. Well, really the guy you focus on is Jackson Merrill, who had a good day. 2 hits, the home run for Jackson today. Jackson hitting his 4th of the season in the first inning to give the Padres an early lead. Aside from him, the other spots in the heart of the order, 3, 4, 5 spots, Manny 0 for 4, Xander 0 for 3. Jackson really the only guy that had much going today offensively out of the heart of the order. 2 hits, first 2 at-bats of the day, the home run at 1:05 off the bat in the first inning, a single to right field at 1:08 off the bat. So hard hit balls for Jackson Merrill today. Couple of hits and a home run to show for it, and hopefully a sign of things to come for Jackson Merrill. By the way, just to give you an idea of how quickly, even this early in the season, you can turn around a batting average, consider this. Jackson entering May 2nd, so entering the let's see here. Entering the Saturday against the White Sox, because he sat on Friday against the lefty Schultz. Entering the Saturday against the White Sox, his batting average was at 200. He had 2 hits on Saturday, a hit on Sunday, and 2 hits tonight. It's now up to 220. I'm not telling you 220 is stellar, but I think it's a good example. If you just run off a bunch of good games, you can still this early in the season totally reverse some of your numbers, including batting average. So we'll see. Hopefully a sign of things to come for Jackson Merrill. All right, let's go back to the clubhouse in San Francisco, and let's hear from Randy Vasquez. Again, Randy, rocky start to today's outing, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, including the home run in the first inning. But from that point on, Randy was solid. 5 2/3 innings, 3 runs given up. Took the loss in this game, first loss of the season. Like we said earlier, first time the Padres have lost the game this year that Randy started. Here was Randy after the game alongside interpreter Pedro Gutierrez.
What did you kind of make of the outing overall? And did anything change for you after that first inning?
¿Cómo te sentiste de manera general en la apertura y si algo cambió en tu trabajo después de la primera entrada?
Me sentí súper bien, gracias a Dios, porque estaba tratando los bateadores.
I felt good. I was just working the hitters, and some pitches worked, some others not so much.
You've been able to stack several good starts this season. Do you feel like you've established a pretty good rhythm in the season so far?
Has tenido buenas aperturas por la mayor parte en la temporada. ¿Sientes que eso te ha permitido establecerte en forma y en ritmo en este año?
En realidad sí, me ha favorecido bien lo que yo vengo haciendo, el trabajo que yo venía haciendo de team training me ha ayudado bastante.
Yeah, yes, I think it's worked for me a lot, getting to that rhythm ever since the work I've been putting into spring training. It's worked in my favor, and everything I've established a good rhythm so far.
How frustrating is it that 2 of the big hits, like Luis Arraez, does not just fair?
Que frustrante es tal vez un poco que los dobles de Luis Arraez, que fueron en la banda contraria y todo tan cerca de la línea, ¿no?
En realidad no fue frustrante porque imagínate, él también hace su trabajo como yo, pero no, a pesar de que esos dobles fueron cerca de la línea, no bajé la cabeza y seguí batallando.
But not very frustrating because at the end of the day, he's also doing his job, and just like me, we're trying to compete. And, I just did not put my head down. Things that happened during the game, and was just able to keep on battling.
Some people might wonder if there's more pressure to pitch well when the offense is kind of struggling like it has been. Did you feel any pressure tonight? And if so, how do you feel like you dealt with it?
Tal vez un poco con las inconsistencias del bateo, sientes un poco de mayor presión en tener que venir a lanzar un poquito más, un poquito más eficaz.
No, en realidad los muchachos, yo confío en los muchachos porque somos un equipo, yo confío en ellos, que ellos me han dado juegos buenos, que yo he ganado mi juego, entonces no le veo la frustración de que ellos van a seguir haciendo lo que están haciendo.
Yeah, and I don't feel really pressure at all. Like I trust our hitters, I trust our batters. They put me in a position to win several games this year. They put us in a position to have a successful run so far. So it's not really frustrating or no pressure at all. Just I trust them, and sometimes things work out.
That was Randy Vasquez, tonight's starting pitcher in the clubhouse postgame alongside interpreter Pedro Gutierrez. Big thank you to Randy and Pedro inside the clubhouse. Interesting thoughts there from Randy. Again, Randy was solid tonight. He was 5 2/3 innings. It was almost a quality outing. And look, I thought a fair question there at the end about, does it put more pressure on you when your offense isn't scoring a lot? And Randy saying the right things there, of course, as well. But, look, Randy, to me, pitched well enough to win tonight. He did. The Padres offense had to do more in all likelihood to win this game, and they only had 2 runs on 3 hits. So Randy, I think for him, just got to keep doing what he's doing. I know it was a rocky first inning, but Randy, for the most part this season, has been a very, very solid. And Randy's ERA now on the year at 3.20 at the end of the night. When we come back, we will get some of your phone calls here. I know we've had some people waiting on hold for a while. So we'll get to those at 833-288-0973 in a bit. And so we'll also have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, get you ready for the middle game of this series tomorrow. Giants win it tonight 3-2 against the Padres in this series opener. Our post-game coverage continues after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight, the Giants 3 and the Padres 2. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in just a bit. We'll also preview tomorrow's game, give you our play of the game. Sam Levitt with you here inside our San Diego studios. But let's squeeze in a few of your phone calls here, 833-288-0973. As always, the phone number to get involved. Let's begin things here tonight. Let's go to Alex calling in from San Diego. Alex has been on hold for a while here. Alex, thank you for waiting. Welcome in. Go ahead.
Hey, Sam. How you doing?
Doing well.
Oh, man. Just disappointed. A lot of the players aren't doing well at all. But, in particular, just watching Fernando strike out and ground out and just fall. And it seems like he's doing nothing. And, it just hurts to see. And it feels like, he's pretty much bringing down the team from what I see so far. And that's not like him. So I'm hoping that he gets it together. But I think, he needs to be benched for a little while. And it's just so sad. It's so sad to see him decline like this. And I hope there's something that this team or the hitting coaches can do. But other than that, I hate to say it, but maybe I've been hearing rumors about maybe letting him go and maybe getting somebody else for him. And I don't want to lean that way, but slowly but surely, every time I go to Petco Park or go to the games or, follow the team up to other cities, I want to see him do great, but it's not looking good.
Yeah.
So I want to know your opinion.
Yeah, Alex, appreciate the phone call. Look, I'm going to slow you down a little bit, okay? Look, I don't think the answer is A, trading Fernando, B, sitting Fernando. Now, with that said, yeah, it's been a tough start, okay? Now, look, in some ways, it's the fact that he was hitting 270 a handful of days ago. That's now dropped down to 252, which isn't as nice as 270, but whatever. We just talked in the previous segment about how these batting averages this time of year can go up and down. Look, the number that really matters right now, if you just want to focus on Fernando, there are two of them to me. Well, three of them to me. Number one, the OPS is at 625, which is way, way, way too low. The other number is 0, which is the number of home runs he's hit in 33 games, and the fact that he has 5 extra base hits, and it's May 4th, and he's without a home run. So, look, I'm going to slow you down a little bit when we get into all these, like, big picture things, and, I don't think the answer is sitting Fernando. You can give him a day, which they did on Sunday. He's going to have to work his way out of this. I mean, look, I'm not going to pretend to be the hitting guru here and tell you what exactly is going on. All I can tell you is it is a fair assessment to say for the Padres to be the best team they can be, they are going to need more from Fernando. And yes, look, tonight, the at-bats didn't look great. He struck out 3 times. That at-bat in the 9th inning didn't look great. Didn't look great tonight. I don't think there's a way around that. He's searching for answers, I'm sure. I'm sure there are others around him that are searching for answers. He's going to have to figure it out. I'm not going to pretend to be the hitting guru and understand what he's doing mechanically and what's off. And one way or another, for the Padres to be the prime version of themselves, the premier version of themselves, he's going to have to kick it into a different gear and be a run producer and hit for some power. It's a little perplexing. We've talked plenty about the hard hit balls, which is good, which shows, I think, a lot of what he's naturally able to do. The problem is he's hitting it into the ground a lot. And the other issue is he's just not pulling the ball in the air, which is something he used to do. So, look, I hesitate to sit here and make it like I'm, the Fernando Tatis Jr. doctor and can tell you, okay, what's wrong with him and this is what he's doing wrong. All I can tell you is, as an observer, as a broadcaster, is somebody much like all of you that watches these games, is that he's going to have to figure it out if this Padres team and this lineup is going to ultimately be what you hope they can be, because what's going on right now, it's not great. So I don't think the answer is sitting him. Gonna have to work through it. That's all I got for you tonight. And right now with Fernando. But look, tonight it didn't look great. And hopefully it gets out. Look, I still will maintain I do think Fernando is going to come around. I think he's way too talented. I think we've seen way too much of this guy be really, really, really good to think that he's just going to continue to go through this. Now, how long that's going to take for it to turn around, I don't know. Do I think it'll turn around eventually? Yes, I do. I'm fairly confident in saying that. But as he's going through this, yeah, it's, has not looked great, obviously. And I'm he knows that, and he said that. Okay. It's frustrating for him too. Very frustrating. Let's go to Pat in San Diego. Hi, Pat. Welcome in. Go ahead. Pat. Going once, going twice. Pat, you're out. See you, Pat. Let's go to Ryan in San Diego. Hi, Ryan. You're on the Padres Radio Network on this Monday night. Appreciate you tuning in. Welcome in.
Of course, Sam. Yeah, another rough night for the Padres offense. Randy pitched good, but I feel like for like the same convo that we're having for Tatis and how much he's been struggling, I feel like it's kind of taken attention off of how much Cronenworth is struggling right now, because it seems like every night he'll have, it just seems like, it's hard to say, but it seems like just long at bats, the couple long at bats that he has only take you so far if you get on base, and he hasn't really been doing that. So maybe they should consider like replacing him with maybe like Sung if they didn't send him down after Mexico, possibly. But I don't know about your thoughts on that. Let's just
Ryan, look, it's appreciate the phone call, Ryan, as always. Look, it's a tough spot. It is. Yes, Jake's had a very, very rough start to the season. He's hitting 144. He's spoken in the clubhouse during the past homestand, and I know Jake well enough. It's no secret to Jake, okay, what he's going through. He understands that, he's got to play better and hit better than what he's been so far. He is going through it. No doubt about it. Look, I do think it's an interesting conversation on really two fronts when you have, look, Miguel Andujar, the way he's been swinging it, I mean, they're getting him in the lineup almost every day. Ty France, when he's had opportunities, has been really good. Now, if you want to tell me, hey, if Jake doesn't start hitting, could there come a point where you've got to limit his playing time to get guys like France in the lineup and mix it up? You might get to that point. I don't know that the Padres are there. I mean, right now, Jake, and I think Jake's earned the runway to turn it around. But look, could you get to a point where somebody like Ty France, who can play some second base and you can maneuver some of the infield, you get him in the lineup more? Sure. Ryan, to your point, there is the Sung Moon Song question. He's sitting at AAA. Now, look, on one hand, Song could be great. On the other hand, you and I have no idea what Sun Moon Song is going to be at the major league level. We don't. Do I think Song will play a role on this team at some point this year? I do. Do I know if he's going to be able to hit major league pitching? I don't know. He might. I mean, he could be, again, it took Ha-Sung Kim, just to use the coming over from the KBO example. It took Ha-Sung Kim quite a long time to be able to hit major league pitching the way he eventually hit it. Who knows? Maybe Song's going to come over, same league, and he's going to, rip up major league pitching right away. I don't know. We're going to see, but I don't know. Is that going to be the reality of, hey, we're now going to sit Jake down on days because we want to see what we have in Song? They may get there. It's May 4th. They may get there. So, look, I do think they're going to give Jake runway here to figure it out, but it's been a tough month plus to begin the season, no doubt about that, and I think Jake knows it. I don't think it's any secret to him, and quite frankly, knowing Jake and hearing Jake in the clubhouse earlier, nobody's taking it harder than Jake Cronenworth. Okay, the way this has started for him, nobody's taking it harder. So, I know that doesn't necessarily excuse some, this level of struggling offensively, but I'm just telling you so out there, this is not an issue of care at all. I can tell you that for sure. All right, we'll squeeze in one more phone call. Let's quickly pause first for station ID on the Padres Radio Network.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Hey, this is Nick Cavetta for the San Diego Padres. You're listening to Padres Baseball on the Padres Radio Network.
And Odyssey Sports Station.
Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Giants 3, Padres 2. Final score here tonight. Let's squeeze in one more phone call because he was waiting on hold for a while. Then we went to him. He wasn't there. But Pat in San Diego is back. Pat, you're back. Chime in. Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick with Drake. with Jake Cronenberg, he almost ran it out in that final inning. But all I have to say is everybody's worried about Tatis. Tatis needs to focus on small ball. He's trying to hit it out of the park. Everybody's trying to hit it out of the park. We got this outside influence on trying to hit it out of the park. Let's just focus on what we're good at, the small ball. And then when the big ball comes in, they won't know what's hitting them.
Yeah, Pat, appreciate the phone call. Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling back. Look, I don't know how much it's an issue of trying to hit the home run right now. I mean, look, to me, just to focus on Fernando for a second, and again, I really try not to sit here and be hitting guru, but to me, it's almost the opposite issue of trying to figure out how we can get the ball in the air. To me, Fernando, and maybe you agree, disagree at home, I don't feel like Fernando's constantly swinging out of his shoes. I don't feel like that watching his at-bats. So, Pat, look, you might be onto something, you might not. I don't know how much it's a factor of, in the struggles tonight, some of the struggles against starting pitching, all these things we've talked about tonight. I don't know how much of a factor of them swinging for the fences this is. Look, if anything, you kind of would like them to hit some more home runs. I mean, to be honest with you, I think we all agree with that, right? They could use some more slugs. So I'd almost trade some of the contact for some home runs, honestly, So we'll see, Pat. Look, they've I'll put it this way. The big picture with the offense right now, even beyond the slug part of it, I think right now, to me, is very much what we've talked about at points tonight, which is they have got to find a way to get to these starting pitchers. They cannot have these starting pitchers being this effective and going this deep into the games this consistently. It's not a great recipe for winning baseball. It's not, because then you're going to be trailing all the time. And look, they were trailing a lot in the early part of the season. They did a great job at coming back in games, finding ways to win, all these things that we talked about for weeks. And they're still sitting at 20-14, okay? I feel like the tenor of this show has been we're talking about a team 10 games under 500. That's not what they are, but we can also fairly assess it at the same time and say, look, the formula of coming back in games and having starting pitchers go really deep against you, it's not a great formula over the course of 162, which brings me back to the point of, hey, you've got to find a way to get to these starting pitchers earlier, take some leads. And to me, that would be a recipe for winning baseball when it comes to the macro of an 162-game season. All right, let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard tonight. Mets beat the Rockies 4-2 in Colorado. Carson Bench hit a home run in that game for the Mets. Red Sox beat the Tigers 5-4 in Detroit. Phillies beat the Marlins 1-0 in Miami. Rays beat the Blue Jays 5-1 in Tampa Bay. Yankees beat the Orioles 12-1 in New York. Good outing there for Cam Schlittler in that one. His ERA is down to 1.52 on the season. Talented young right-hander for the Yankees. Aaron Judge also hit a home run in that game for the Yankees. Cubs beat the Reds 5-4 in Chicago. A walk-off home run for Michael Conforto in that game at Wrigley Field. Royals beat the Guardians 6-2 in Kansas City. Cardinals beat the Brewers 6-3 in St. Louis. By the way, the Cardinals are 21-14. It's a team that's supposed to be rebuilding. They're off to a great start in St. Louis right now. Dodgers beat the Astros 8-3 in Houston. White Sox blanked the Angels 6-0 in Anaheim. Munetaka Murakami hit his 14th home run of the season in that game. Major League leading 14th home run for Murakami. Mariners beat the Braves 5-4 in Seattle, and that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Monday evening. Final score in San Francisco tonight, Giants 3, Padres 2. I'm going to tell you, it's not an electric play of the game, but it is tonight's play of the game.
One bounce, one hit, one pitch can be the difference between victory and defeat. What was the most important play in today's game? This is today's play of the game. Presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Restoration and Flood. We know how.
And Devers swings, pops it into right field. Fernando over towards the line. He will make the catch. Arise, tagging at third. Fernando's throw is on the way home. It'll be cut and not in time. Sacrifice fly, Rafael Devers. And the Giants have added on. It's 3-1 in the bottom of the sixth.
I told you that the sacrifice fly wasn't, I told you that the play of the game was not going to be electric. Hey, we don't always pick a sac fly, but meanwhile, it was the Giants' third run. It ended up being the run that won the game. So, yes, that sac fly charged against Randy Vasquez, with Vasquez still on the mound in the sixth inning. Rafael Devers, RBI. That was our play of the game. Made it 3-1. Padres did get the solo shot by Laureano to begin the top of the ninth inning to make it 3-2. But hey, that third run ended up winning the game from a Giants standpoint. So for that reason, it is, unfortunately, here tonight, our play of the game. All right, taking a look ahead to tomorrow, same time, same place. First pitch tomorrow in San Francisco at 6:45 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:45. Starting pitching matchup tomorrow, tough customer on the mound for the Giants. Getting late after 10 p.m. We got to get out of here. On the mound tomorrow for the Giants, right-hander Logan Webb. That's why I said tough customer. He's a good one, and he is on the mound for the Giants tomorrow. Right-hander Walker Buehler on the mound for the Padres. So Buehler against Webb. Our pitching matchup, our pregame coverage begins at 5:45 tomorrow evening. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game coverage in video form there as well. Taking a look at the final totals here tonight for the Giants. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors. They left on 6. For the Padres, 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. They left on 2. Winning pitcher tonight, Trevor McDonald, who improves to 1-0. Losing pitcher, Randy Vasquez, who drops to 3-1. And the save goes to Caleb Killian, his first of the season. Time of game, 2 hours and 9 minutes. And the crowd at Oracle Park in San Francisco, 33,097. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 6:45 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:45. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Kyle Ovenshire, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from inside our San Diego studios. Again, the final score here tonight, the San Francisco Giants 3 and the San Diego Padres 2. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.